we've been joined in the studio this morning with Frank Woodson. How you doing this morning? Friday with Frank. It's here. It's upon us. All right. How you doing this morning?
Hey, doing great, Gary.
Pretty good. So, a debate coach saw the debate, graded you an A. Did you see it in the Alabama Reporter?
I did not see it in the Alabama Reporter.
Yeah.
You know, I'm always looking for continuous improvement. You know, and if I'm grateful for what I did. I learned a lot. People got a chance to see many facets. They got a chance to listen. They got a chance to watch us under cross-examination. I thought it was great. The debate coach saw it, but what was more important is that people across, Gary, I tell you what, that thing reached everywhere. Let me just say that right there. It reached everywhere.
I know.
But one of the things I keep hearing, people saying over and over, you were the most professional. You were the most professional. You were the adult in the room. You were the most professional. And part of that is leadership. Part of that is training. Part of that is understanding that we have to be able to attack the problem without attacking the person. You can do both. You know, people talk about brutal honesty, Gary. You don't have to be brutal to be honest. You can be honest.
Yeah, that's
Is
true.
it your intention to be brutal or honest? And the same thing, when we get into the public domain, we're representing our families, we're representing the citizens. And so, Gary, people had a chance to see it all. And I just want to say thank you to you, your team. It was absolutely amazing. It doesn't matter to me if that TV station don't even want to call out their name. If they don't do it again ever, there is no need for them to do it because they will never match what you guys did, your team did.
That's quite a compliment.
It is, Gary. But you know what? It's well deserved. Your team put that on, and for the first time, and to do it at that level,
Yeah.
right? And it's respected, and networks come to you for, can I get a feed from what you produced?
You're right.
Man, there's an officer on deck. That's all I can say.
Well,
Great job, man.
I think it was an award-winning presentation, and I got to remind my staff when the ABA awards come around, present that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that should win.
Well, you did something. It takes courage when the opportunity comes to build a team. Part of leadership is seizing that moment, Gary. So when we saw all these cuts all around the city and all of that, and quality people were becoming available, it takes leadership to say, hey, look, this is our time to accelerate. This is our time to make a shift. We've been doing okay, but let's take it to another level. So hats off to that.
All right, so you're satisfied with your performance during the debate? Do you come back and say, maybe I should have said this, maybe I should have done that? I know it happens.
It does.
Yeah.
But Gary, if my goal was to be performative, I polled, I saw, I know the demographic that I'm looking for. And the entire time, every debate, Gary, I'm speaking to that demographic. Right? I want my 30,000 people to come out from that demographic and vote for me. People that are ready for mature leadership. People that want a mayor that can be in the forefront and they feel proud of. He won't embarrass us. That's one thing President Obama did. He didn't embarrass us. He didn't take the cheap shots. He didn't go all everybody's a liar and all that. We've seen that with another president. Okay, the crooked news media and all these different things. Everybody that disagrees with me is a liar. Gary, I wanted to represent and give people an opportunity to see the type of leadership that they would have. I noticed, everybody noticed. They said, well, the candidates are taking your talking points. I said, that's great. That's what leaders do. And there will be people that come after you that will take the format that you had and try to, that's a compliment, right? Gary, I stayed focused. People talked about housing now. They're talking about that. They talk about leadership. And people were afraid when you put it out there, they're going to take it. I said, I'm okay because God has prepared me, Gary, for such a time as this. I think Genesis 50:20 or 50:19, I think it is. It's right in there. It says that what you meant for bad, God meant for good, for such a time as this,
Right.
that many would be saved. But the other one, Gary, the verse right before it, this is what it says. When his brothers think that he's going to take revenge, when people in City Hall worried about their jobs and going to be fired, great performers have no fear of being fired in Birmingham if I'm mayor. Great performers, people that put the people first for real and go the extra mile and do their job and work hard, they have no fear, Gary. But I tell you this, Deming said in order to have total quality, there has to be the chance of the poor performer losing their job, right? I'm going to bring in the best of the best, day one, and they're going to work for me. A level 8 leader will never work for a level 5 leader. A level 8 leader will never work for a level 4 leader. If we're going to bring in the best and brightest team to work and turn Birmingham and turn this region, Gary, then we're going to have a leader that has experienced leading leaders. I'm the only one in this race, Gary. I'm going to say that again. I'm the only one in this race that has experience leading leaders, right? And that's what we've got to have in Birmingham, a team of leaders. When I was in Montgomery, Gary, I led leaders. Lieutenant Governor Ivey was on my authority. Head of the House and the Senate were on my authority. A couple more committees, appropriations were on my authority. Head of banking and finance and all these different departments were on there, Gary, and they had no problem me leading. In fact, they voted for me to lead the land bank. They voted for me. They nominated me. It wasn't Scoochie over there around the way. It wasn't Pookie over there. Leaders trust that. And when Birmingham came together and said, let's create Blueprint Birmingham, then they invited me to be a part of the steering committee to talk about the direction of economic development. Birmingham mayor wasn't at the table. Birmingham hasn't been at the conferences talking about how do we build up Parkway East and Roebuck. There are developers that come to these conferences. And then, Gary, Midfield travels to these shows to where they recruit these businesses to come into this area. You have to go get them.
That's true.
Right?
Right.
And so, Gary, I know what it takes. God has prepared me for such a time as this. In 2008, the Neighborhood Stabilization Program, I was a HUD housing developer at that time. I know how to take the houses that we have. Highfalutin folks, you don't want the houses that are over in Inslee and North Birmingham and East Lake. You don't want them. But to a family that's working class, that's just starting out, guess what? One man's throw off is another man's treasure. Those properties have value. I'm ready to serve, Gary.
All right, Frank Woodson, Friday with Frank. Frank Woodson is our guest this morning, candidate for the office of mayor. All right, on Tuesday, August 26th election, Frank Woodson wants you to remember his name for mayor. There's an article online, ABC 3340, covered our debate, and as the Birmingham mayoral election approaches, candidates are making bold claims and sparking intense debate. This week's debate covered critical issues such as neighborhood association funding, affordable housing, and crime trends. With candidates challenging the current administration record, ABC 3340 is working to fact-check the claims by the candidate from that debate. Wow.
Well, that's what they said, Gary. You know, I'm fact-checking tonight. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. You know what? It verifies. By the time I stand up here, Gary, I know the data of my city because I've been tracking what's happening in Birmingham for 20 years. Homicides, every year I've talked about homicide. Every year I've talked about cleaning up. And Gary, while we're up here celebrating, and I said this before, Birmingham is still one of the deadliest cities in the country, Gary. And so we had a huge drop in the first 6 months. But Gary, guess what? That drop changed because when we got to July, the homicide rate was down 27%. All right, it was down 27%, Gary.
Okay.
Now, in August, the homicide rate is down around 13%, Gary. In other words, we our killing spree, just like the rest of the country, we took a holiday. But right now, our crime rate has us projected, and I said this in the debate in that article on 3340 says, let's fact check Frank Woodson. How dare they? Mayor Woodson wouldn't do it. None of the candidates would fact check me. So the newspaper decided, since I didn't get fact checked, that they would do it themselves. Here's what they said. I said, by the end of the year, right here, this year, we will still be in the top 10 in homicides in the country. We are on track for about 38 homicides per 100,000 people that live in Birmingham. I said that during the debate. There were people that were listening. Right? And so when they fact check, here's what it says. Current data shows Birmingham has 46 homicides this year, with a projected total of 74 by the end of the year, equating to 37.6. Okay, I was 0.4 off, Gary, but I rounded up per 100,000. This would place Birmingham among the top 5 deadliest cities or homicide rates according to Freedom for All in 2024. We can't go to sleep right now. Now, so this is that thing, and this is what I said. And I turned and I addressed the Mayor Woodson directly, and I said to him that we were going to be in the top in homicide, and we have a problem we cannot pull back. I said it. We've got to deal with this issue. Oh, and I said this to him. I said, you can't just take credit when things are going well. When the school system got a bad report, the teachers need some home training. And so he went after the teachers, and they need home training, and they talking about a pay raise. They need to be kicked out or whatever. But then all of a sudden, the reading scores go up because it takes time. The reading scores go up. Things start trending. We have worked hard together. We are doing a wonderful job. Things are well. Those teachers are the best thing since sliced bread. Come on, we can't do that. And then the same thing with homicide. Oh, yeah, we're doing great. We're down over 53%. We're down over 50%. We're down over 45%. We're happy to jump up and all of a sudden say we are. And Gary, these folks out here, they love Michael Pickett. I tell you that. Chief Pickett. And when he came on, I saluted him. This is our police chief. They said, well, he ought to have the job, don't you think? Because the homicide rate's so low. I said, no, leaders don't look at it like that. I'm not going to go in day one and fire anybody, because leaders always look at the available information before they make a decision. You got to look at it, and there's information I don't have. But this is what I challenge those people that tried to leverage me for support. I said, look, if homicide rates begin to go back up, should I blame Chief Pickett? Well, they're down now. I said, but should I blame him? See, as a leader, I'm not going by trends. I'm looking for the best of the best. Sometimes good leaders just need the right environment. So when I get in there, I will evaluate. I will see about his command experience. I will see how his peers respond to him. I'll look at those things, Gary. Now, as the homicide rates are going up, again, right, from where that 54% drop, are we still going to have that same energy to where we come to the forefront and say, the homicide rates are going up now? No, we've got to have solutions, Gary. Now, I want to say this, and I want to make it clear. Birmingham is the problem that needs to be solved. Now, let me say it again. Birmingham is the problem that needs to be solved, not a politician. Randall Woodson is not the problem with crime and with this and with that. The city has a problem. I'm here today because after 8 years, I found out that Randall Woodson is not the solution. For different things, for where we were at a time, for the good things, the energy that was in the city, the energy in the downtown area, people we brought in, all of that was great, Gary. And I know we're not supposed to say people did stuff well, but those things were really good. Tim Cook coming in, these things happening. But Gary, right now, we need a CEO. We need a leader for the times that we are living in. And all three of the politicians that are in this race have been here 20 years, Gary. And guess what we were talking about 20 years ago? Same thing. Guess what we were talking about 8 years ago? The same thing. Neighborhoods, crime, all these same things, Gary. Education. Gary, I am the only one that is not only a proven leader, but a proven solutionist. As Mayor talks about Birmingham Promise, great thing, the last mile scholarship. They're not full rides. The events that I do since 2008, where we brought 12,000 students down to the Boutwell and now the Civic Center because we've grown. 12,000 students and over $100 million in scholarship, Gary. 12,000, 14.8 this last school year. Gary, that's a solution. You know, I used to cry watching that movie. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. You remember those commercials?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Gary, I'm a solutionist. We bring those kids in, 1,200 kids, 1,000 kids. We bring them in and we put them before these colleges and universities that have dollars to give. Full rides, Gary. And Birmingham Promise manages the gap. But guess what? We don't charge the school system anything for doing that. Gary, we didn't take any money for a school system. We asked them to partner with us. And then they said, well, every kid's not going to college. And so we said, let's align the career technical education coursework in the school system with the junior colleges in the area. Well, they said, well, you know, we know about them. No, let's create a bridge before those kids graduate. So, Gary, at those events, we bring in those junior colleges, and they have all of the career tech, and we're growing the health sciences, and we're doing that. But then we also have a partnership with the skilled trade unions. We're crying the schools don't offer trades anymore, Gary. They're not teaching. Well, let's work with the skilled trade unions. Let's bring them in. Right? And look, I didn't get their endorsement, but guess what? I'm not petty. We're still going to work with them. We're still aligning and reaching out to make sure that every child has an opportunity. Ready Day One. Have you heard of Ready Day One, Gary?
No.
You didn't. There was a Ready Day One back to school
Sure.
initiative in Birmingham, right? I founded that, Gary, about 15 years ago, right? And so if you go to readyday1.org, then you'll see. We adopted, when the superintendent came and said we're having a challenge getting kids back to school, we said let's remove the obstacles. We're not going to bribe the family. We're not going to give them trinkets. We're not going to create a lottery for a $5,000 gift certificate. We've got to go straight to the community. And that's what we did with Ready Day One. And so we said we were prepared to adopt every kid, Gary, that lived in and around public housing and in other areas, Gary, that needed help getting back to school. If clothing and all that during the uniform time was an obstacle, Gary, we adopted 5,000 kids.
All right.
3 uniforms, book bags, supplies, and belt. What we
All
got,
right.
sir?
Here was the Alabama reporter, a debate coach. This how
Uh-oh.
he rated you. Frank Woodson, A-. Birmingham pastor and nonprofit executive Frank Woodson was an eloquent and experienced speaker. He was exceptionally skilled at getting outside of the specific policy discussion to focus on more general themes of accountability. He also excelled at humanizing problems in a compelling way. However, at some point, his general get-it-done approach would have benefited from some specific solution. He was able to stay out of the most virulent of the personal attacks.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah, and let me say this.
Sure.
One thing I know is that you can't give detailed solutions in 2 minutes.
You can't. No, you can't.
So I know that.
Yeah.
So that's why I booked a full hour
Right.
on JLD Wednesday night.
Right.
To go through. So if you haven't looked at the clip from Wednesday night on Real Talk with James Williams,
Right.
then you can come back. And what I did, Gary, my campaign said, no. Look, people need to hear the details of what you said. And so, Gary, and we planned for that reason. Right? And so on there, we laid out how we were going to use the land bank to begin to reduce the 30,000 plus vacant lots. We're going to give those properties away. You maintain it for a year, it's next to you, 6 months to a year, we're going to give it to you at no cost, Gary. We're going to do that. How do I know you can do that? Because I was chairman of the State Land Bank Authority. Gary, were there any questions in the live that were?
No, they hung up.
Okay. I mean, on the Facebook Live.
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Well, look. Then I'll use the last 2 minutes to say this right
Sure.
here. I'm running against 3 politicians with 20 years of experience. I'm the only one that has really worked to bring experiences. We're gonna deal with the food deserts. We're gonna make sure that in Birmingham no child goes to bed hungry. And the way that we're gonna do that, we're gonna use existing funding and policy. Because all the kids in Birmingham qualify for free and reduced lunch. They also qualify for dinner, even in Midfield, Gary, right? And so what that means is that no child goes to bed hungry. Because the food program is the USDA federal program, it's not a school program, then it can be open so that every child that's in that neighborhood up until the age of 18 can come to that school and eat dinner for free if you apply for that. We have the statistics. Right now, Gary, we've got to figure out how to stabilize our community. 68 out of 99 neighborhoods saw a decline. They said when they fact-checked it, it's a little over 16,000. I believe the up-to-date number is about 18,000 people have left from 68 of the neighborhoods combined, 68. The other neighborhoods are increasing by roughly about 3%, right? So we are declining. Houses, people are leaving, businesses are leaving. Before we can attract grocery stores and economic development, we have to stabilize the neighborhoods around that area. If the economic developers see that the neighborhoods are in decline, they will not come. Gary, I want to be that next mayor. We need a mayor that is qualified, that has experience in economic development and community development. I'm Frank Woodson. I'm running to be the mayor of the city of Birmingham. Visit my website, frankwoodson.com. frankwoodson.com. I will represent you and I will not forget about you. Thank you.